Hello there. Welcome to the MCU podcast. I'm the MCU guy, and I am glad to be back. Oh, it's been a while. I feel like because there's not been that much MCU content since December with Spider-Man and Hawkeye, there's been a bit of a lull, and it's obviously been difficult to kind of find topics to talk about apart from some of the big news. But now we've actually got some content to come back with. So we're going to be talking a bit about Moonknight today, and obviously previewing the big film which comes out next month, which is Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. I'm joined today by a new guest to the podcast, Mr. Alistair Bibby. Welcome, Alistair.
Hi there. Thank you for having me.
No worries. Thank you very much for joining us. I found Alistair among the cosplay TikTok scene, which, if people don't know, listen to this podcast, I'm on TikTok. You can follow me as well. You can follow Alistair. We'll talk about that more a bit later on. But I came across him. He does some fantastic cosplay, everything from Star Wars to Marvel to some other random ones, which I'm sure you're going to tell us about. But he's a funny guy, and he's genuinely brilliant at some of the cosplays that he comes up with. So obviously he's going to tell you a bit about where you can find him and what kind of Comic-Cons he's going to be turning up in the next couple of months. But mainly, first of all, Alistair, just introduce yourself, tell the people where you're from, and what it is that you do cosplay style-y.
Of course. Well, firstly, thank you again for having me on here. It's a real pleasure.
No.
Can't wait to discuss some of the topics we're going to discuss. Basically massive Marvel fan, or as you could say, I'm kind of just covering all the nerd culture as you can. Marvel, Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, all that really covered in one. I basically started cosplaying on TikTok during lockdown in 2020, and the rest is history, as they say. Obviously, my big cosplay, I think as many people probably know me for, is Thanos, both in his Infinity War and Endgame versions. Recently I've added Palpatine, Chancellor Palpatine, to the villain roster. And there's a couple more villains to join. Saruman is eventually coming along as well in July. So covering all bases on some of my favorite franchises of all time, really. And of course, I love everything that Marvel's done recently with the MCU. Obviously, still heartbroken that Thanos is maybe gone, because obviously he's my favorite character. It's just a pleasure to be here, really. And obviously, con-wise, I'm going to MCM in London next month. Nice. So very excited to be going to that for the whole weekend. And I've still got to sort all other cons out at the moment. It's all crazy at the moment. So yeah.
Is it so I've only been to one con, and it was like MCM Manchester, but they stopped doing MCM Manchester now, which is a bit of a shame. But I think it was like 2018 or something. That's the first and last one I've been to. And obviously COVID hit, so I've not managed to get back into the circuit yet, which is annoying, because I mean I see pretty much like every other weekend all my favorite TikTok cosplayers all joining up and all having a wonderful time, and I'm just like, oh, I wish I was there. But it's just difficult to kind of organize myself and be able to get into the cons, and obviously having the foresight to be able to buy tickets in advance and then not realize 2 weeks from the event that it's actually happening, being like, oh, well, I can't go. So all these Comic-Cons. So how many have you been to since you've started? I mean, obviously you started in 2020 doing the cosplay. So how many have you been since lockdown ended and you got back onto the scene?
So I debuted at cons in 2021 at MCM in London in October. And then after that, I went to MCM in Birmingham in November. And then after that one, I went to the Wales Comic Con, the Telford Takeover, as they call it, the week after Birmingham. And recently I went back to Telford again 2 weeks ago, and got to meet some amazing people, Andy Serkis being one of them. So
wow, nice.
Fantastic experience.
Yeah, it's cool, isn't it? I mean, for people who haven't been to a Comic-Con before, it's really interesting. They normally have like guest speakers on. They have people, obviously, a lot of people going cosplays. You have people selling stuff. You have have a lot of authors there, people from TV, people from film. Yes, it's a really cool experience, and I'd obviously recommend you check one out. And obviously, you'll probably be able to meet some of the amazing people that Alistair talks about. Like, I think the one I went to, I had was it Rock? Was it Rock? What's it called? They Yondu from Guardians was the MCM.
Oh
one.
Yeah.
It's Michael Rooker. That's
Michael
it.
Rooker.
And James Gunn's brother, which again, Sean Gunn, which was fantastic because not only is he in Guardians, he's also in one of my favorite TV shows of all time, Gilmore Girls, and he's just absolutely incredible. He was so funny talking about both projects, and I remember them talking about. Someone asked him, obviously, you can't tell us about Guardians 3, but can you? Has the script been written? And this was all about back in 2018. He was like, yeah. James has written the first draft of it. It's already done. We're just waiting for the green light from when to start filming. Mm-hmm. And then obviously COVID hit, so then obviously everything got messed up, and then he obviously left and went and did some stuff for DC. But like as I was saying, incredible experience, and you should definitely go check them out. So as we move off to the cosplay stuff, we're going to move more towards the MCU. So as you're a new guest, we now have this thing where we ask our new guests one of two questions. We've got the first question, which would be your earliest MCU memory. Like that be it, the first time we went to see a film, a TV show. It doesn't actually necessarily have to be the MCU, because I know that a lot of stuff now is kind of classified as canon with the Raimi Spider-Man verse being shoved into the MCU. So like I can allow that to be added into your experience now, if that does change your mind. Or it can just be the normal MCU. It's up to you. And then the other one is your favorite MCU film. But now, because we've got the shows, you can pick a show as well, or both. It's up to you. We just want to let the people know the kind of person you are and the kind of stuff that you enjoy about the MCU. So let's hit with the first one. Your earliest MCU memory, please, Pat.
Well, I'm gonna take your offer and obviously go with the original Spider-Man in 2002, Sam Raimi's. I owe so much to that movie. I really got me into superheroes. It's a character I really love, and obviously one of the best villains, Green Goblin, who obviously came back and was even better.
Yeah, it is.
But if I said an MCU, if we went for official MCU, I would say, of course, Iron Man. Iron Man was a great experience, and I kind of wish I could go back to myself and go, this is what it's going to become. Because at the time we didn't know. It was a one-off, and that was, we thought it was a one-off. Yeah,
but imagine having the being told like, just this is cool and all, but there's some more cool stuff coming. Don't you worry. Don't you worry, young Ali. You've got some cool stuff coming. Your favorite, and then the favorite film or MC or show.
I think it's quite clear. My favorite film is obviously Infinity War.
Yes, man. 100% agree with you. Best one, hands down.
One of the best midnight opening experiences I've ever had. Obviously, being one of the only happy people leaving the theatre because my guy won. Everyone else was sort of crying. There's me just going, yeah. But I think
it's screaming, kids crying in the back, and you're just still going, yes, get in.
Sorry about Spider-Man, but yes. But it was just such a satisfying film because they built Thanos up, and it could have buckled under expectations, but it didn't. For us, I guess, that it achieved it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
Took it in a dark direction, and I missed that experience. Wish I could go see it again for the first time. And then for MCU show, it's a tough one. I'd probably say at the moment, it's probably Moonknight. I know it's controversial because we haven't had the whole show, but I'd say Moonknight. I think it's been thoroughly enjoyable so far. But as completed shows, I'd say WandaVision. I think WandaVision was very different. It tried new things. Obviously, I loved the sitcom era, so it was great seeing that explored in the show. And it was great every week, everyone having their fan theories and like guessing what was going to happen in the next episode. So I'd say as a completed series, WandaVision, but if Moon Knight sticks the landing when it comes to the end of its run, I'd probably say Moon Knight.
Yeah, man, I completely understand where you're coming from with the, which to a third like brings us on to like the next segue of Moon Knight. We might as well have a bit of a brief conversation about it. I'll probably cover it properly once it's finished. We'll probably do like a separate pod about that. But Yeah, I completely agree with what you're saying. The first two episodes have just been, it's something different from what we've had in the MCU so far. And I feel like with every single show, the only one that's kind of really been a normal MCU show, as you can imagine, with Hawkeye, hasn't really done anything ridiculously gripping or new or like out of this world. Loki was adventurous because of the sheer like cinematicness of it. Like it looked big, didn't it? And then obviously WandaVision has the completely different kind of format that you'd expect from any show that we've seen or film we've had in the MCU. So this one, I think it's going in a way that it kind of reminds me of like the Netflix shows. It's just it's so darker and it's so gritty, and it still has the MCU humor, which it does really, really well. But it also has some like quite sinister undertones, and obviously dealing with stuff like with multiple personalities with Mark and Stephen. Again, it's such an interesting angle, and like I've not watched episode 3, by the way, so we're on a no spoilers zone. Because episode 3 came out today, because it's Wednesday, the 13th. It's not come out. I will not watch it yet and wait until tomorrow to watch it. So we're going to stay away from spoilers. But the first 2 episodes, incredible. From what I've been told by a friend of the show, Aaron, who reviewed the first 4 episodes, 3 and 4 are bonkers, and it kind of just elevates the show a bit more. So I mean, you've watched it, haven't you? The episode.
I have indeed. Yeah.
So so. Is Aaron right? Is episode 3, has it taken it one step further than 1 and 2 has?
It has indeed. There's a moment in the episode where visually it's beautiful, it's stunning, it's fantastic what they did, and it's moving the MCU into a very different direction in a good way. It's opening up now to other mystical things. Obviously, we're exploring Egypt's history here and everything, so it's very deep in that sort of lore. But yeah, it was a fantastic episode. Again, the action on this show has been fantastic. The direction has been brilliant. And again, Oscar Isaac, he's absolutely knocking it out of the park. Absolute brilliant addition to the MCU, and more from him, please. Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't know about you. I was when they announced the new chunk of shows that were going to be coming to Disney Plus. Moonknight again. I'm not massively keyed up on a lot about Moonknight. I just knew that it was apparently the MCU's poor man Batman. I'm like, I don't really see the comparisons that much between what I've seen so far. But it's really surprised me, and I got a bit more excited when I saw Oscar Isaac being involved, because he's a fantastic actor. Some of the roles he's had, his other Marvel film that he appeared in probably wasn't his best one, but we'll put that aside, because obviously we know that a lot of actors do get their Marvel redemption at some point when they come to the MCU, as opposed to being in a different Marvel film by a different company. We won't really mention any other names. Chris Evans, but it's good to see that he's actually been given the opportunity to be a different character in this universe, and he is nailing it so far. Like some of the acting he does in the scene where he's trying to give Ethan Hawke the what they call the scarab, and he's trying to give it him, but obviously he's being pulled in opposite directions to try not to give it. Fantastic comedic acting that, and it's not one of the sides you normally see with Oscar Isaac. To be honest, like they kind of he's a bit playful in Star Wars and stuff in it, but it's not really like kind of laugh out loud funny bits. So I was really impressed with that. Ethan Hawke is a fantastic addition as well. He's not like a terrifying villain. He doesn't seem that scary, but he has a certain presence about him, which I'm really enjoying. And to be fair, every time I see him walk, I'm just like, I kind of get pains in my feet, because I'm like, how is it? I know he's not really doing it, but he makes it look like he is doing it, because he just looks really awkward and really shifty when he walks. And you can obviously, the reason why is because he's walking on glass, and it's just a bit like, I can't be doing with that.
And there's done that with sound design as well. Actually, you can hear it. And I noticed that today in episode 3. I was like, they've been doing that all. That's amazing. They've actually put that little attention to detail in. It was, but yeah, I totally get what you mean. It's like, horrible.
Yeah. So, without giving too much away about episode 3, Have we had our MCU cameo yet?
I've only watched it once so far. I didn't see a cameo yet.
Right, because obviously with these shows, there's always another person who's being in a different part of the MCU. So there's going to be a crossover at some point with a character. No one seems to really know what it is yet. And I know that obviously you said that episode 3, there's a lot of stuff visually, and I can imagine that a lot of it takes place in Egypt, and there's going to be a lot more experience between like gods and a bit more, what'd you say, like not mystical, but more mythical stuff.
Yeah.
Like, we know that there's going to be at some point we're going to get vampires, we're going to get Blade in the MCU. So is this the kind of film that you could see someone like Blade turn up, or someone like Black Knight from the Eternals show up? Is there a scope for one of these newer MCU characters to make their like introduction to the show, or do you think they're going to pull a cameo from a different past film or show?
My bet would be Blade.
Yeah.
I just have a sneaky feeling, because one thing I loved about Moonknight, just a quick point, is because this is our first series with a brand new character. There's no connections to any of the previous phases, and I think that's why it's felt so fresh and so great of exploring this new character, this world that he lives in, and I think Marvel are going to stick at that. So I'm probably going to say it might be an introduction to Blade. I think that would be it would make sense because there's history between Blade and Moon Knight in the comics. So I would definitely say that was the cameo I think it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, I think we're not maybe long overdue, but I feel like with the way that Phase 4 is shaping up and the and all the other projects we've got going on, they're running out of the introduction for his character before his own film. Obviously, we had the tease at the end of Eternals, which I assume is Blade that talks to Black Knight, but
I think
again,
so.
we don't. I think I'm pretty sure he is credited as being him, but obviously we've not seen him yet. So it'd be nice if we kind of got him in something sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Even if it's a post-credit scene, even if it's something like that, and I feel like we need to get someone. Not that the show needs a cameo, because it really doesn't. So far, it's like I said, it's fresh and it's new because it's a character we've not met before, and there's not huge connection to the MCU so far, but it's clearly an MCU show. But I feel like there is a cameo coming soon. How would you like the show to pan out? So with the way that it's going now, do you think that Ethan Hawke's character is it Harrow? Do you think he is the main villain, or is there a twist? Is there a turn coming? Is there something bigger at play? Like, are we setting up a bigger villain, like we were in like Hawkeye with Kingpin?
Obviously, because Harrow is working for, I've forgotten the name of the Egyptian goddess, who it is.
I can't remember what it's called now.
Yeah, I think she is going to be
the alligator lady. The alligator lady.
Call her the alligator. Yeah, I think she is going to be the main villain. I don't think they're going to do a surprise twist villain. I don't think it would work. I think Harrow is perfectly brilliant villain anyway, as you said. Ethan Hawke. Also, what I get, Ethan Hawke in the MCU. Sinister, creepy, and I kind of feel it's like what they did with WandaVision, going back to like Agatha. We all knew Agatha was probably the villain.
Oh, of course.
It's staring us in the face. I think this is I don't think there's going to be any twists or turns in this one, but I could be wrong. It's Marvel.
Yeah. They have a habit of throwing us in the wrong direction sometimes. Even when we have things clearly in front of us, they'll still send us in different directions. To then sometimes even bring it back to us being correct, but going about in a way where you're like, of course I've done that. The bloody buggers. Okay, so what we'll do is we'll leave it there for the Moonknight chat. We'll take a quick break, and then we'll get into the main topic of discussion, which is Multiverse of Madness. So we'll be back in 2 seconds. Ciao.
So, Scott, as you may be aware, there's a bit of a lockdown on.
Yes, I had heard that.
Lots of people have suddenly got a lot of time on their hands and a smorgasbord of content to choose from to fill that time. How can people find the best nerdy content when there's so much out there?
It's difficult, but don't worry.
Hello there and welcome back. Once again, I am joined here with Ali, sorry. And we are about to talk about probably the biggest film of this year, I'd say. The sequel to Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Now, when this got announced 15,000 years ago, it seems like, everyone seemed to lose their mind about it because they were like, oh my God, it's Benedict Cumberbatch, it's Elizabeth Olsen. And the way they pitched it with before Sam Raimi took over and we had Scott Derrickson directing, there was like, this is Marvel's first horror film. And Kevin Feige was a bit like, it kind of is. Yeah, we'll go, it's horror-ish, still PG-13, mind. But everyone was like, oh, it's gonna be good, it's gonna be dark, it's gonna be everything we kind of want from an MCU film. And everyone assumed it would be a House of M storyline, with it being Wanda versus Doctor Strange, because I think Kevin Feige did say the villain of the film will be Elizabeth Olsen or something along them lines, or they kind of hinted towards like she was going to be the bad guy. So you're like, it's going to be House of M, she's going to lose her mind, all the mutants are going to come in, that's just going to be insane, breaking all the multiverse down, but from the looks of it, I don't actually think it's going to go down that route, to be honest with you. So basically, we're going to have a bit of a discussion about where we think the film's going to go, what we'd like to see, and then we're going to have a discussion about the scene where Doctor Strange is walks into that room. It must be the Illuminati. I've not said it's the Illuminati yet, but it's going to be pretty much going to be the Illuminati. So we're going to talk about who we think or who we'd like the Illuminati members to be. And I've got some ones I think that you're really going to enjoy. I think you're going to enjoy some of these, trust me.
Wait.
So yeah, basically, we might as well kind of talk about the Doctor Strange, like the premise. There's no like official synopsis been released so far, but I think from what we've seen with the trailers and some of the featurettes that's come out in the last few days, the multiverse, we saw what happened in Loki. The multiverse has been opened. Like all hell is about to break loose because of what happened with Kang. The guy at the end of time.
He
who remains. That's it. Yeah. So / Kang. So obviously we know the multiverse has been broken over in that and with Spider-Man. So a lot of mad shit is going to happen, right? And we know we've got multiple versions of Doctor Strange in the film. We know we've got multiple versions of Wanda in the film. Is it going to be a Wanda versus Doctor Strange film? Is it going to be Doctor Strange versus Sinister Strange? Is it going to be a Wanda and Doctor Strange versus Scarlet Witch and Sinister? What's going to happen? Who and what is going to happen? It's confusing. Alistair, what do you think is going to happen?
Oh, your guess is as good as mine. It's so from what we've seen from the trailers, the information we've got, this movie's going to be bonkers. It's going to be a game changer. I think Kevin Feige said as well. This is going to be, I think everyone says it's kind of the Winter Soldier movie of the phase. Because that film changed everything we knew. It flipped the world upside down. I think this is going to be the same. The MCU is not going to be the same again after this. I think Wanda is definitely the villain. The way she's been portrayed in the trailers, where I think you see her meditating at Kamatage, she looks very Scarlet Witch going down a dark path looking for her children. But yeah, I think it's mainly going to be Doctor Strange and America Chavez on the run from Wanda. I think that's kind of where the film is probably going to go. Obviously, we've got to deal with the consequences from No Way Home as well, because that's got to have lasting effects on this world. But it's just good to see Benedict have his solo film again. Someone told me today, like, since Doctor Strange has come out, Tom Holland's had an entire Spider-Man trilogy.
Yes, he has.
Yeah.
Yes.
So it's like, come on, guys, give us some more Doctor Strange. But yeah, I love the original Doctor Strange. I think it was such a fascinating and brilliant movie, introduced magic to the MCU very well. I think this one is going to do the same because it's got a fantastic director, as we all know, Sam Raimi, who I think, as you mentioned earlier, mate, that I think he's kind of horror is very playful with the Evil Dead series and that. So I think they've got the perfect choice for a PG horror film with him as directing, and it looks visually stunning.
Oh yeah, that like some of the clips which I'm pretty sure is going to be for the utopian parallel, you know, where American Chavez is, and they've got that ribbon monster thing chasing them. Where they go through that, it looks like a what kind of door is it now? Is it like a safe door or something?
Oh yeah,
and they go step through it, and he's in that world. Like even that looks like it's going to be absolute. I think if that's going to be like one of the main like places in the film and one of like the main moments, I think it's going to look insane. Like they said that like some of the biggest effects I've ever done on a film was Ego in Guardians 2, because like having to put so much effort into making that look the way it is, I think this is going to like blow it out of the water. Like visually, I can't imagine it being anything but visually insane. I mean, I'm gonna try and watch on IMAX because I can't imagine it would be as good in any other way than watching it in an IMAX theater. Just be looking at it and be like, whoa, my eyes are melting. But I think it's important to note, like you said, the horror themes of it. With it being a PG-13, apparently it's kind of teetering very, very close to the edge of being not a PG-13. Good. Just because of the themes that are suggested, and there seems like a lot more blood in the trailer that I've seen for any other Marvel project that I've seen, and it, I think it's going to be quite jumpy and quite just like on edge for quite a lot of it. I can't see there being that much humor in this one. No, I know they said that Sam's good at being playful, but I can't see. I know that Doctor Strange is a bit witty at times. It can be a bit sarky and stuff, but I think with the consequences of this and the stakes that are involved, Benedict Cumberbatch said in that featurette, like the stakes are incredibly high for this one, and there's almost endgame level like implications for it, and you're like, oh wow, okay, right. So what you're trying to tell us is that things are just, like you said, are never going to be the same again. Mm-hmm. I mean, the introduction to like the Darkhold in WandaVision is quite an interesting theme that we can take into this film, because obviously we know that she will read the Darkhold at the end of WandaVision, obviously trying to find a kid's Billy and Tommy. Yeah, there's obviously in some of the trailer stuff we've also seen another book as well with a blue light, which could be like the Book of Vishanti, which is obviously the essentially the other side of the Darkhold, which obviously the Darkhold's written by Chthon, and I feel like the Vishanti book could be written by the Ancient One, and it's something that Doctor Strange has to try and find. So I could imagine at some point maybe we might have like a ghost version of the Ancient One appear and be like, tell you what, you kind of need to find this book to help you combat the magic that Wanda is using from the Darkhold. And it kind of, like I said, it could be like we're on the run from Wanda, where you could be, in theory, we could all be trapped in a fucking Wanda style like vision by like with the Hex. It could be one of these things where she's like, right, I'm blowing the multiverse open. You've got to try and hide in the multiverse, and I'm going to come and find you. And it could be like a cat and mouse kind of film where they stumble across American Chavez in the parallel, utopian parallel, and then they discover loads of different variants of other people, like Christine Palmer. Again, could be another variant. It might not be the Christine that we've seen in Doctor Strange 1. It could be a different Palmer. We've obviously got other variants of other characters, different variants of Doctor Strange and variants of Wanda. It just, I feel like at this moment in time, without an official synopsis, it's just a guessing game, and I don't know which direction it's going to go in. What I do think, though, and I'm happy to put money on this, is that I don't think it'll be a House of M kind of finish. No, I don't think this is the start of mutants in the MCU. I know we're getting Charles Xavier, we're getting Patrick Stewart, but I don't think this is the start of the mutants in the MCU. And I feel like that's what everyone was building up towards. Everyone was building towards the mutants coming into the MCU, and this being the reason why. But I think the effects of WandaVision are more likely to impact us getting mutants than this film.
Agreed.
Or even the stuff with from Spider-Man No Way Home as well. I feel like there's other things that can get us the mutants in a different way than having them kind of just not like plonked into Doctor Strange, because obviously we know that it's going to be an insanely big film. But I feel like the mutants probably deserve their own film. Or their own TV show, or something that kind of thrusts them in their own way and starts the storyline the way they want to start it, as opposed to it just being like, oh, well, it's a multiverse, so all the mutants are here. Cool, bye. That's it. I feel like it should be more justice towards it, and I can't imagine the House of M storyline actually playing out like it does in the comics. Or if they do the House of M comic storyline, they might splice it with something else, like they did with Infinity War and the Infinity Gauntlet. It wasn't like kind of true to the comic books, but they put their own spin on it. It could be like a very watered down version of the House of M, where it doesn't really involve the mutants, but it might involve other implications going forward.
You can hint towards them, definitely. Yeah. I think hints towards them would be fine. And yeah, I agree. I think if you introduce them in this, it feels a bit cheap. I think, like you said, they deserve their own grand entrance to the MCU, and hopefully we'll just get a little subtle hints. And like you said, we're getting Charles Xavier, so that's great. So we're going to get a little bit of mutants. So
who knows? So we were talking about this film having some insane people in it, and the thought it might not be all mutants coming in to the MCU this way. Some we did meet. Obviously, Charles Xavier's Patrick Stewart is in the trailer. He's not confirmed it, but we know it's you. Yeah, Patrick. Don't. You can't fool us, pal.
Don't do the Andrew Garfield defense. We know.
Yeah, we've been hurt before. Don't try and pull the wool over our eyes. We obviously know that he turns up in the scene where Strange is in some sort of like detention unit and has been taken through by like the thingy guards, like the Iron Legion guards from Ultron bots. Yeah. So we know that he gets brought to a room. Mordor's there as well, isn't he? But he's not one of the 6 members on the chairs. Our task now, Al, is to try and figure out who them other people are. We know we've got Charles Xavier, so we can count him in. He's our number 1. So what I want from you is 5 other people you think are going to be in it, or I'll tell you what, not necessarily you think is going to be it. 5 people you'd like to be in it and why, and then I'll give you mine, and we'll compare notes. So we've got Charles Xavier. He's your number 1. Who's your number 2?
Number 2, obviously, is Mr. Fantastic. I think just by one of the images I saw from a still shot, I thought I could make out the 4 on the chest. It did look like Mr. Fantastic, and obviously, again, he's part of the Illuminati in the comics, so it makes perfect sense for him to be there. My next choice is Captain Carter. I think having Peggy on the Illuminati would make sense. They really put her front and center with What If, and I think there's even a hint of her shield in one of the posters. You see part of her shield, so I think that's another. Why would you put that there? So that's another member. That's 2. I've got 3 so far, so I've got 2 more. I have a sneaky feeling there's going to be a T'Challa or a Black Panther variant there. Obviously with a new actor, of course, but I just have a feeling we're going to get Black Panther. And I'm going to be a bit controversial with this one because I think it'd be hilarious if you want to just add a bit of comedy. You make the last member Deadpool.
Oh, yes!
Brilliant would that be? Just
inject that into my veins. Give me Ryan Reynolds now. That would be phenomenal. To be fair, that would be incredible. Oh, I didn't even think about Deadpool. Why didn't I think about Deadpool? That'd have been brilliant because he has hinted that obviously Deadpool was going to be coming in sooner than you think. So that would be brilliant. Oh, wow.
What a perfect film. Or in worst case with Deadpool, have the post-credit scene of him just sneaking into the MCU now the multiverse is open. It would
be
great. Just seeing him sneaking in or something.
I like that.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? That's kind of indicated another question I was going to ask you later on, which I was going to say to you, what do you think the post-credit scene is going to be? But you've kind of given me one answer already. So that's you've gone you're 2 birds, 1 stone. You're absolutely excelling at this podcast. Look at you, smack out the park. Right, you know what? You've pretty much got almost spot on stuff that I've got in here, right? So what I want to find out before we move on to what I've said. So you Reed Richards, who's playing him?
Oh, I think John Krasinski.
Of course. Yeah, okay. I like that. Your Black Panther, you said you're recasting instead of Chadwick. Could you see it? Could you see it being a recast of Chadwick then? Have you got anyone in mind?
I don't really, off the top of my head. I think it's such a hard role to recast.
Yeah, 100%.
I think they'll just go with a variant. I'm not sure who it will be. It could be a pleasant surprise. We'll have to wait and see, I think, on that one.
Yeah, 100% agree. Captain Britain, definitely Peggy. Not actual Brian Braddock. Then no, you're not feeling Brian Braddock.
As much as we love Ryan Raddick and it's Henry Cavill, of course we'd love that.
Oh yeah, that would be good.
But that's got to happen.
we love Peggy though, don't we?
We do. It's Hayley Atwell, and obviously
it's
this
just
filmed
incredible.
in the UK, and Hayley Atwell is in the UK, so it wouldn't have been hard to phone her up and say, we got a cameo for you to film. Can you come in and keep it quiet? And
she'd do it as well. She'd be minted it.
And it's Hayley Atwell again. I just want to see her in more stuff.
Yeah, she's mint, isn't she?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Captain Carter show is one of the most underrated MCU shows out there.
Definitely,
so good. Like everything about it was just fantastic. And then you even have like executive producers, like even like Kevin Feige was the executive producer on one of them shows for a few episodes in the first season, and even the Russos worked on it as well. Yeah. So they obviously know that the Russos and Feige love her. So it wouldn't surprise me to try and put her in any possible thing they can put her in. So yeah, I agree with that. Okay, right. So I'm gonna give you my 6 now. So we got Charles. He's already ticked off. Right. Going down the route that you went down, I'm gonna go Black Panther as well, but it's Michael B. Jordan because it's a variant. It's a variant that ended up taking over and not being and killing T'Challa and takes the mantle. Yeah. Michael B. Jordan comes back. Everyone loses their mind because he was mint, and he gets to be Black Panther. They don't tarnish the memory of Black Panther. They don't insult anyone by recasting him. It is a variant of Black Panther, but it is someone that we've seen before in the MCU. So give me Michael B. Jordan's Black Panther. Definitely. I'd take that all day. Again, I completely agree with you with Reed Richards. John Krasinski, amazing actor, perfect for the role. Get him signed up, get him in. Captain Britain, gone again, Peggy, not Brian. And then, so the other 2 are Spider-Man.
Oh,
so because of Raimi, it should be really Tobey Maguire, but I'd like to see Andrew Garfield instead. Mm-hmm. Just because we'd all expect it to be Tobey Maguire, but it'd be brilliant if it was just Andrew Garfield instead. And they'd be like, "Oh, look, it's Andrew Garfield. He's back." And you'd be like, "Sweet, nice one." And then Tony Stark, Tom Cruise.
Oh, Superior Iron Man, are we thinking?
Yes, man.
Yes.
Because imagine how cool that would be. And they're like, what a perfect way to bring back Tony Stark without having to pay Robert ridiculous amounts of money for 5 seconds of being in a film.
It would make sense as well because those Ultron sentries look very much, the style of them does look very Superior Iron Man, and it would make sense. I would love Superior Iron Man to be in this because it's a fantastic variant of Tony.
Yeah.
And obviously, I think the other character we haven't spoke about is obviously, I think it's Captain Marvel, variant of Captain Marvel from
is it Monica Rambeau?
Yeah, Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
Which looks pretty cool. So I don't know if she would be on the Illuminati or she's kind of working for them. Yes, there's too many characters in a good way.
We're complaining about there being too many good characters to fill in this film. Oh, what a shame it is for us to be enjoying this film. I almost went for a few options as well, so I need to honorable mentions go to Black Bolt. Yeah. I kind of don't think they go down that route because that show was so bad that I don't think they want to even acknowledge the fact that that thing existed. So no, never existed. So it's a shame because Blackpool is quite a cool character, and the guy who played him wasn't horrendous. It was just a horrendous show. Yeah. Also, something quite cool would be either Eric Banner or Ed Norton as being a different version of Bruce Banner.
Yep, that would be
again because we've had alternative versions of these in other MCU properties. And my other one, so I was doing some research about past members of the Illuminati, and I thought, what about a possibility of Thanos, a variant of Thanos, which I knew you'd like as soon as I started talking about Thanos. I'm like, God, how good would it be if we got an alternative version of Thanos where he didn't go for the Infinity Gauntlet?
To be honest, the fact they
just became an absolute beast in the universe.
They got Brolin back to do an episode of What If, and I think Josh, he said he's not done with Thanos. Yeah, and I think there are big plans for him in the future.
Yeah, man.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah, everything in the world crossed for you, man. Because I know that you'd lose your mind in the cinema if it was Josh Brolin as Thanos.
I wouldn't recover, I'd just be sat in my seat and probably still there.
I don't know. It seems like a really cool way to still keep Thanos in there and keep him relevant without, because you like, with him being like the best villain that the MCU's ever had. Yeah. Why not bring him back for any possibility you might have had? And with him being a past Illuminati member in the comics, why not give us that option? If you can do it, might as well do it. I don't know.
Interesting, definitely.
I feel like it'd be cool. I mean, because because it shows a few of them walking in, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Or a few of them sat down, but there's an empty chair on all of the promo footage I've seen. There's always an empty chair right at the very end. So imagine if they all sit down and everyone's losing their mind about everyone sitting down, and then you hear like some big thud steps, and it pans outwards, and it's Thanos just wearing like robes instead of wearing these fighting armor, and you're like, yes, Thanos.
I lost my mind in What If when I heard his voice and saw it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'd be over the moon.
It'd be absolutely sick.
But I think your choices are pretty solid. I think they're really good choice. I think Superior Iron Man, that is a perfect choice. It does. It really does.
Yeah, I know. It's all that. It'd be too. I feel the only thing about that, I feel like it's too easy because of the, obviously because he was originally going to be Iron Man and all that kind of stuff, and it's I don't know. It feels a bit like a cop out.
It does.
But at the same time, like I said, it'd be really cool because it does kind of make sense with why would they have Ultron, Iron Legion bots? Why, unless you've got them for a reason? Like there used to be either Ultron there or Iron Man, or it maybe even Vision because of his connection with Ultron. So I don't know. That's the problem with Marvel is, like we said before, they are very good at teasing us and tickling us and being like, oh, look at all the stuff you might have, and then be like, no, you're not having it.
No, you can't have that.
Sorry, pal.
You want
Sling your up.
You want Quicksilver? No, it's Ralph Boner.
Exactly. That is exactly it. Yeah. All your hopes and dreams have come true because we've got the old X-Men dude in. Yeah, he's not really that guy. Yeah, you don't know what you're talking about. He thinks Boner's a funny joke. But I mean, in all fairness, it was cool anyway, wasn't it? Really, him being back, and like we've said, there's multiple, endless possibilities of people being in this film, and like bits in the trailer where we see Doctor Strange going through different universes. In that bit where he ends up like going to a cube and going through dinosaur age and all that kind of stuff. Even if these guys aren't in the Illuminati, there's still scope for some brilliant little nods and cameos to different people from different bits. And like, I'd love to see more TV show characters make appearances. Like, I want to see the Runaways because obviously Tina Minero has a connection with Doctor Strange because she was a follower of Caecilius, and just stuff like that. I want to see more connection. I want to see more intertwining of the MCU. So just give me all the universes with all the characters ever, please. That's just give me it because I want that.
I'm going to make a bold prediction because I think it could happen. Because again, UK-based actor, I really wouldn't rule out Loki in this film.
Yes,
just a cameo or something. And obviously, as you know, I'm a big fan of Mobius. Give me a sneaky bit of Mobius in there too.
Yeah.
I'm happy on it. But I just still, you've got the trio, the three brilliant magic users of Loki, Doctor Strange, and Wanda. I'm sure they may have found a way to sneak them in, because obviously Michael Warden's writing this film with Sam Raimi, who was the head writer on Loki. So I really wouldn't rule out Loki making some form of appearance in this.
Yeah, man. I could 100% see that happening. And you know what? It's one of those things where I'd not even thought about it until you just said it. I was like, yeah, of course. Why would he not be in it? It's another multiversal thing. Maybe we'll see Kang at some point. Maybe that might be a post-credit scene thing where we're seeing Kang and Loki in some sort of altercation. Maybe Mobius is driving by on a jet ski or something. Whatever. It could be. We'll get something. Yeah,
he'll get his jet ski.
He'll get his jet ski.
He'll get his jet ski.
So let's tell you what. Let's kind of like round it off. Let's round the discussion about Doctor Strange off with. I feel like we're getting two post-credit scenes.
Great. You've
given me one with Deadpool. Yeah. If you want, you can change that. You can give me a different one, but I want two different post-credit scenes. Little ideas, little sneak peeks, little hints to what we've got coming next. Are we getting Doctor Strange 3 hints? Are we getting just other franchise hints? What's going to happen? Give me a two suggestion top of your head.
So I'm going to keep my Deadpool one, because I think it'd be funny, and I think you kind of maybe do need that bit of joy of seeing. Of course, seeing Ryan Reynolds is always a treat. Yeah. So I think having maybe just him sort of after maybe the post-battle in the Illuminati, if they get destroyed by Wanda, if they do, you kind of just see Deadpool suddenly appear and just sort of find his way into the MCU, and off he goes. I think the first one, I think it's got to be Doctor Strange related somehow.
Yeah.
I really wouldn't rule out them hinting at Nightmare.
Yeah. Yeah.
He was obviously originally meant to be the villain of 1. They changed it. It was kind of rumored he was going to be with 2. He's not. So I think it will be a hint at Nightmare, hopefully, because it's an amazing villain.
Yeah.
The Doctor Strange. So I think Nightmare is the first one, and more ramifications from what's happened in the film, and then Deadpool will be the second one.
Cool. I like it. You know what? I'm gonna stick with your Deadpool thing for mine. I think a Deadpool little cameo is the best thing I could hope for. Because I feel like this is probably going to leave us with a bit of a gut feeling like Infinity War did, where it's going to be picked up in a different film. Some of the implications that happen in this film, and I personally think it's going to be picked up in Ant-Man Quantumania. So it wouldn't surprise me if the post-credit scene is something that maybe hints more towards Ant-Man and the multiverse and Kang than it does Doctor Strange 3. Because I mean, there's always room for that to kind of pick up in a different franchise, in a different show. Yeah. Or they could do 3. I wouldn't rule out a possible a possible post-credit scene for Doctor Strange 3, because it'd be surprising if he didn't get a third film. But like they've done with the first Doctor Strange film, like the implications in that weren't massive, were they really? Because it was just no more too many sorcerers, and then like, well, right, and then the other one was for Thor. So I don't know. I feel like there's probably more scope for it to be something like an Ant-Man Quantumania hint with Kang. Because I mean, how ominous was it at the end of Loki, where you see that big statue of Kang and you're like, this is a bit like, oh, I got like goosebumps that are like, oh no, this is something bad's going to happen. And it wouldn't surprise me if they started doing that, because if they're going to make Kang the big baddie of Phase 4, or like one of 2 big baddies, depending on what route they go down. Because I obviously think they're going to go down the like multiverse route. Yeah. And I think they're going to do the ground level route where they set up the Thunderbolts and all that kind of stuff. I feel like there's 2 different directions the Phase 4 is going in. I think the big bad, like for all the cosmic stuff, it should be Kang. So what better film to put it in a multiversal film than this? So that's what we're hoping for. But I also want your Deadpool thing more than life now. Now you've said it. I can't get it out of my head now. I'm just like, I might just tweet Ryan Reynolds later on and be like, so Doctor Strange post-credit scene, should we be paying attention? And then he'll respond and be like, yeah, of course. Do you want to come watch Wrexham with me next week? I'm like, yeah, of course I do. There we go. And that's how our beautiful friendship is formed.
Of course.
And then you'll come as well, and we'll go, and then Rob McLeany, whatever it's called, from Always Sunny will join us. And the four of us will go for pints and watch Wrexham. What a good day that would be.
Yeah. Non-league football's great.
Exactly. It's brilliant. Yeah. Well, it's only non-league football till next season when they get promoted.
Oh yeah, that's true. That is true.
Yeah, the boys, they're gonna up the town, if as they say on the old TikToks. Right. So, Multiverse Madness. We've agreed it's going to be batshit crazy with all the cameos in the world. I think that's pretty much everything we need to talk about. I think we previewed it as best we possibly could do. All we need to do now is wait another 4 weeks or 3.5 until it comes out before we lose our damn minds. It would be nice to have you back on to discuss some of the stuff we've spoken about. So maybe if you're free, we could have another chat after Doctor Strange comes out. But for now, it's been an absolute pleasure to have you on the podcast, Al. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure discussing Doctor Strange, and I'm sure by the time we've been talking, they might have released a Thor trailer. We never know.
Fingers crossed for Monday, by the way, for this one.
Yes.
So Wednesday the 13th, this Monday, Bank Holiday Monday, hoping we're getting this trailer. From what I've seen on some quite credible sites, it's been finished, it's ready to go, and we're going to get it pretty soon. But Jesus Christ, I've left it a bit late, haven't they? I mean, we thought they left Spider-Man late, but Jesus, CH Christ. Let's hope we get that trailer. But for now, Al, tell the people where they can find you on all of the social medias.
Right. So, of course, TikTok, the Clock app. You can find me on now. It's Ali the Titan 1392 all together. You'll see a pinned video of John Walker singing Good Morning USA, so you know you've gone to the right place. And you can catch me on Instagram at Bibby1392.
Cool. Wonderful stuff. And obviously, next con you're going to is London, sir?
MCM London next month.
MCM London, yeah. So if you go into MCU London next month, look out for Al when you follow him on TikTok and Instagram. I'm sure you'll find out what character he's going to be cosplaying when he goes at whatever day he is going. Well, he's going for all weekend, but whatever day you go and you see him, you can be like, "Give me a high five, Al. I loved you on the podcast," and you're like, "Cheers, pal."
Hopefully, Green Goblin might be there. Fingers crossed.
Oh,
yeah. Hopefully, Green Goblin will be ready.
That would be very, very cool. That'd be very enjoyable. So might as well tell you where you can find all the social media stuff for the MCU guy. That's me. So the MCU guy on all platforms apart from Twitter. The MCU Guy UK. The MCU Guy UK on YouTube's, Twitch, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Etsy, or the MCU Guy. Find all the stuff there. Get an Etsy t-shirt. Get one of these t-shirts. This one's my Jimmy Woo one. It says James E. Woo because he does this card trick. You can get them on my Etsy page.
I need to get one.
You should get one. You should get one. That'd be wonderful. And I've got a few new lines coming out as well. I need to play catch up because I've missed quite a few films, but we're getting a Black Widow t-shirt launch. We'll be doing Hawkeye. We'll be doing Spider-Man No Way Home. Loads of stuff. It's all coming out pretty soon, so bear with me. It's happening. But apart from that, make sure you follow the podcast or subscribe to the podcast. Like it, review us now because you can do that on Spotify. So if you're on Spotify or any platform that you can leave reviews, please do because it helps other people find us and it gets shot up the algorithm. More people find out about the podcast and we'll be able to do more important and exciting things going forward if more people listen. So please listen. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure to have you again, Al, and thank you very much for joining. We'll see you next time for the review of Doctor Strange, and then after that we'll do a review of Moonknight. So thank you very much for joining. I will see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
This podcast is part of the That Thing You Might Like network. Here's something you might like. Find us on socials at TTYL Network.